Well, good morning. I have a lot that I would like to share, but I don't have very much time, and I want to be respectful to Pastor Mark so that he can preach today, okay? So let me go ahead and explain the context before I explain a change that's going to happen here in a few weeks. But as you all know, our church, we have two KidMin life group hours, 9 o'clock and 10:30. But when kids are in 5th grade all the way through 12th grade, their life group is only going to be available at 9 o'clock, okay? Also, our church, we do not have what's called children's church. Now, if you're not familiar with what that is, kids' church it's basically, some churches do this. We don't want to look down upon churches that do it this way, but kids' church is basically when kids do not participate in the main worship service, but they have a separate experience with other children. Really, it's away from their families. But biblically and philosophically, we hold a different view than maybe another church. But let me explain. This is actually kind of ironic. But when I first came here, it's been over 4 years ago, I actually advocated to have kids' church here because that's what I was used to. And when I first came, I remember talking to the staff about how I would like to start kids' church. But Pastor Mark, very respectfully and kindly, he explained to me that that's not the philosophy of the ministry here, because we believe that it is valuable for families to worship together. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't agree with him. But I was respectful and I was kind. But over time, my view began to change. I began to see the wisdom of what he was talking about, how biblically it is so valuable and important for families to worship together. Again, we're not looking down upon anybody who does things differently. This is just our biblical conviction. So, and also just being a dad, right? It kind of helped change my perspective on it, because I would like to worship with my children rather than them being separate from me. And so over time, my view changed, and then I began to learn more about this topic. I began to study. I began to just make observations, that kind of thing. And I began to notice that there was a potential structural problem with the way that we were currently doing it. And so I began to talk about it. And let me just explain a couple very quickly. Number one, like I said, we have 2 life group hours, 9 and 10:30, but the vast majority of kids come to the 9 o'clock life group hour, and then they attend worship with their families at 10:30, which is great. But some of the children who come to 10:30, they're not able to worship with their families. And what actually has happened is that the 10:30 life group hour has accidentally, for some, a smaller percentage, it's sort of become like a type of children's church on accident. But that is kind of going against the philosophy of the ministry here. But also, I've begun to realize that there were several parents who served every week at 10:30. But the moment their child hits 5th grade all the way through 12th grade, since their life group is only available at 9 o'clock, that means that unless something changes, one of 2 options can happen to those families. Option 1 is that kids never get to participate with worship with their families in the service, which I think we all would agree is not good. Another possibility is that the kids would just never attend their life group, which also is not good, which precipitated some needed changes. And so we as a church want to hone in on this fact that we believe biblically it is so valuable for families to worship together. And I would like to show you a very quick video of some families in this church who are sharing their testimony of why family worship is important to them. And they've been an encouragement to me, and I know that they'll be an encouragement to you. So let me show you this before we get into some more details.
God calls us all to worship, and children have an important role in our worship services.
One of the greatest things about having our children in worship with us is getting to watch our children to sing at the top of their lungs, worshiping God from the bottom of their hearts.
We think it's important for our kids to see mom and dad worshiping Christ.
We also underestimate what our kids are capable of understanding, that they understand a lot more than we give them credit for, and just giving them exposure to God's Word being taught at a variety of levels is important for them, and they're taking in more than we imagine most of the time.
When I look over and I see Genevieve taking notes, wanting to look them up and read them later, it means a lot seeing that she's actually paying attention.
I still remember a lot of the songs that we sang when I was a kid, and those songs still point me toward Jesus today. And I want the same thing for our kids.
We want to know what our kids are learning and to be a part of that. And it's ultimately the parents' responsibility to make sure that they're taken care of spiritually. And so worshiping together as a family, sometimes that seems like that might be impossible because you've got little kids and they're active. It's something that's definitely possible.
As a father of 6 kids, it's very neat for me to look across the pew and see every one of our kids participating in some way, and that brings a lot of joy to me.
All right, so in light of the fact that we want to emphasize the importance of biblical family worship, the change that's going to happen is in August, on August 17th, which is Move Up Sunday, we're actually going to discontinue the kindergarten through 4th grade life group at 10:30. This is not going to impact preschool whatsoever, but we are going to encourage those kids who normally would come at 10:30 in the K through 4th life group to attend the 9 o'clock life group. And there are so many other things I could say, so many positive things. I don't have time to explain all of them, but at least just a couple huge ones. Number one, it's going to enable us as a church to really carry out the mission, one of the goals, which is to equip families for worship, equip them for the adventure of faith, right? And number two is that it's going to actually enable the kids to have a greater kids ministry experience, because the elementary age kids will be up in the Kid Min Big Room. We're going to have a big, large group gathering, and it's a great experience for them. But also then they will divide up in their age-appropriate classes. Plus, another third one, we'll have more volunteers for Access Children's Ministry. So many good things, but I'm going to stop there. But I'm sure many of you probably have some questions for me, and I'll be happy to help answer any other questions you might have about it. But please be in prayer. I think this is going to be a great thing for families and God's glory. So.